session, a lot has been said, starting with what the editor said, I'm getting about lessons learned. The law that created this monster called Fishrot is still intact, so there's still room for abuse. So until this process is changed for the better, I think it will be business as usual. With those remarks, I would like to open now the floor for questions. I would like us to participate. Any questions?
Very interesting event, but it's national in orientation. Now, I've spent 25 years living along the Kuisebmond and had people complaining all the time about the quotas being given to the chief, and they never hear anything. So why don't we have an event like this on a local level, but only on a national level is not going to get us so far?
My question is, has there been any attempts to revamp or overthrow the current Marine Act since all these devastating actions took place while this Act has still been in place? Has there been any attempts to overthrow the current Marine Act? Thank you.
Good evening. My question is about the quota beneficiaries. Is there a committee that deals with that? If there is, what is the name of the committee that deals with such internal affairs? Because there are people that are favored or are selected as beneficiaries in the fishing quotas, but they are actually not getting benefits from those beneficiaries. In a sense that you find the youth that has been included in those quota applications, as well as the disabled people or the marginalized, but they have actually never benefited or received beneficiaries from those selections. Thank you.
This is an interest platform. My name is Joseph Makanga. So I'm very, very happy to hear the senior indicate something based on what is happening in Walvis Bay. However, I just want to know, or maybe I'll get the clarity even though I came late. So in Walvis Bay, I find it difficult. We have seen quota addition like sweet, but do perhaps the nation know who are the owner of those companies where they are giving the quotas? And the second, those who have companies in their houses and getting quota to go and sell to the company that are having rights in Walvis Bay, what is their corporate responsibility to the nation? Or it is just the comradeship that are there, the head offices in Windhoek, when I will get the quotas, and then I have to go and sell in Tunago. From there, the money has to go in my pocket. Second, I don't want to touch about what happened here for selling to the Fishrot and whatsoever, everything is already alluded. I just want to second that my senior that we need to separate this. There is people who was involved in illegal strike, even though some are still condemning it. And there is really people who was directly involved in the Fishrot Scandal, especially like Saga Seafood and Jesus, that was happening in 2020 and 2021. But however, the challenge now comes, maybe it's a point of concern to the trade union. Yes, of course, we know that trade union was supposed to be vocal. But we need to see also in terms of our law, the limitation of trade union. If Namibian trade union could be evaluated to be at the standard of South African trade union in Africa, then it would be good. If you look in terms of our Namibian constitutions, Article 95 sub C, it states that the duty of trade union is to promote a good sound labor relation between the tripartites, which means the duty of trade union, once there is a conflict, I'll say you are wrong and you are right, from there let's move forward. So now, how do you expect a trade union to go to such an extent? And there is conditions that are attached. If you will overtake that role, your license might be revoked. And if you know, the same Article 95, if you see, they give the power. Look, sub-article I. They give the power that the power is endured in member of parliament. Endure is that workers are paid a living wage and adequate maintenance of decent standard living and enjoy social welfare and cultural opportunity. Whereby you see, members of parliament are politicians that are elected on the grassroots and being decide in the parliament what it needs to be done for the workers who is on the grassroots. And this is the member of parliament that we are talking, because if you are not a politician, you cannot go in parliament. Thank you very much in short.
You should be able to check as to, has the person created employment as promised? Have they delivered on what they have promised on CSI activities? So all of this, in the absence of all of that, we cannot say who exactly is involved and so on. The other issue is also the Marine Resource Advisory Council. We managed to dig up a few of their names, but it took us weeks, months actually, to find out who are the people that are serving on the Marine Resource Council, how are they elected. Because even the fishing industry, some of the people in the fishing industry told us, we don't know how this person got elected to represent the fishing industry on the Marine Resource Council, because on the Marine Resource Council you have the scientists and then you have people from the fishing industry as well. Now, on top of it, even those scientists that are sitting on the Marine Resource Council, they will also tell you that if we get the survey reports, it doesn't matter how much we, like if they indicated maybe the TAC for the year should only be 200,000 metric tons for horse mackerel. But because we've got somebody powerful sitting on the board, and Tangeri also, I'm referring to Tangeri because I want to be safe on this one, that if you have somebody that have people, politicians in his pocket, they can easily overrule this and say, no, we cannot operate on 200,000 metric tons, we want this much. And they overrule the scientists. So the plundering of the resource is not just by going into the 200, it's also this is what happens when they decide on how much quota should be given out. So we don't know who sits on this. And that also adds on as to how come government is currently one of the biggest quota holders. Government actually holds the biggest quota because they have quota with Fish Corp. I think this year was 20,000 metric tons. Then they have a quota with the trust. I think that's about 10 to 15,000 tons. And then they have the governmental objective quota that they put out on auction. So that makes government the biggest quota holder currently, and not the industry or the guys that have put up the infrastructure to develop and to create employment.
Who are the people completing those applications? Who are the beneficiaries? And beyond that, we should ask, is this the right system? Sometimes we get fooled by people saying it's Namibianization. Frankly, I can tell you, as our research has shown, and some other researchers have come to the conclusion, the country loses as much as $100 million a year because of this, I call it so-called Namibianization policy. Because somebody gets told you must, the outsiders are told you must team up with Namibians so that you can get these fishing quotas. And then the Namibians get told you have to get into the joint ventures with these foreign companies. So who is eventually the beneficiary? It's not the Namibians. We must remember, none of us as human beings make the fish. We don't breed the fish. So it's a common resource, it's a common wealth. It's our wealth, commonly, to be used for the current and future generations. But the approach that we have taken with this so-called Namibianization policy, for instance, is we are consuming it for those of us who are around now. So we want to destroy land resources that can be used for our children's children. So we must be careful then what role we play. And I think, if I can say, FES, this is a good point to take up to those communities who are used as the applicants, so that we get to those communities and say, well, we see that an application was put in on your behalf. What do you know about it? How do you understand the way this fishing industry operates? And I think that's where we need to go. That's what we need to do with this kind of events and dialogues, and really go at the local level. Because a lot of times, it's true, the chief gets accused of having stolen or taken all the money. And it's the same all over the country. Efforts to overthrow the marine law, these efforts can only be made by you, the voters, if you're talking about overthrowing or changing it. I think that's the lesson that we have had over the many years of researching and writing about how the laws and policies are used. Quota allocation committee, I tell you, as much as the accused minister is claiming it was not his decision, well, by law, it's his decision. The minister, as Esther was saying, the minister can overrule even scientific research. If scientists say you cannot fish in this area because of this damage, the minister can literally just overrule that, and that's by law as well. So I think the main issue is let us, the public, get interested in our resources. Taxpayers' money is your money. But every time politicians come around and tell us, we are going to give you so much, they behave like it's their money. We should be the ones saying, no, we don't want you to build a road on the other side of the Jews. We want you to improve this road or put that money in our children's schools. So let us get involved, but we can only get involved by informing ourselves.
Thank you very much.
I would like to commend the Ebat Foundation for this initiative. I think our voices need to be heard, especially when it comes to the issue of governance. It has been a very good initiative, and I think more public education and awareness raising has to be made in order to mobilize the communities to speak out against corruption. I was a bit concerned when something was said about the biomass management, the management of the fishery resources. I think scientific research should not be overridden by personal interest. And I think that is also one aspect that needs to be addressed by those who are in the media, those who are in civil society, and also the leadership at local level, because we have to manage our resources sustainably so that everybody can benefit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Aloysius Kangolo, and I'm the regional chairperson of IPC in the Rongo region. I should commend the platform. I should commend the initiative. Of course, for the first time, as it was indicated, that it is even brought to the people. And should we eventually be given responsibility to make sure that this whole is full to its capacity, we could have done so, particularly informing the youth. However, allow me to have one question or two on the basis of that in Bill, the union leaders who say, of course, when our brothers were down at Okapari and they are still at Okapari, most of the politicians, be it me, we were always fronting to ensure that we are saying injury to them is injury to us. However, he indicated that yes, they played a vital role, they were at the center point to make sure that they are eventually back to work. Well done. I only would like them to say, is it appropriate that the union become, or otherwise, become beneficiaries of fish quota, direct or indirect? Because at the end of the day, you are representing the interest of the workers. In this regard, the fishermen workers, and yet you have quotas in that regard. How will you then be able to buy this one of yours for the interest of the worker? Is it not appropriate that the union in the fishing industry should not be allowed? Yes, we understand everyone has the right to whatever, but looking at the interest point of view itself, is it not a conflict at the end of the day? Will it not be the conflict of interest in that regard? The second one is basically to do with the statement that you made, the right people for right position. On what basis? Because everyone seems to be right. If you go out there and say, is he the right person for that position? What exactly should we look at to say, yes, he's the right person for that position? And I would like to indicate that the meritocracy should at least apply this time around, so that we can see people being appointed not on just political affiliation or so, but on the basis of knowledge, on the basis of qualities, of leadership and in regard they will be able to deliver us. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Evening, my name is Nabo. I just have a little bit concern based on that MP when he said fishermen they are in two groups. When they become unemployed. We fully understand that some from Namsov because of Fishrot Scandal. But then these people who went for illegal strike, I will not just establish that these people they went in strike because of corruption, because I knew these people they have been asking and knocking door to door, want their overtime, want their condition of employment to be discussed, but the right people turn their back. Are we saying it's illegal strike, or are we saying because of corruption that the people who are supposed to help them, they are having quotas? So I think we need to establish this, that those who went for illegal strike, we are not saying it's illegal strike, but we are saying they went there because of corruption. I thank you.
I mean, guys, just by sitting here, guys, I realized the biggest blind spot we are facing right now is the youth not engaging in anything of this. So it doesn't help today we have assets protecting us, but the fact is that these assets are tomorrow's liabilities. So if the youth don't come in and engage in these issues we are facing in this country, we won't go nowhere, guys. We won't go anywhere, because today we'll be facing with Fishrot, tomorrow we'll be facing with whatever issue. But if the youth don't come in and step with our elders, nothing is going to go on, guys. So I think we should come up also with projects that engages the youth in these matters, and they should also realize that they play an important area. Matter of fact, they hold a magnitude to change this country. So it doesn't help today we listen. Even if I look around here, how many young people are sitting here? Maybe only 3% of this population sitting right here. So how can we change? How can we see a better future for this country if the youth does not engage in these problems we are facing? So we should increase projects that educates, awakens, and also makes the youth understand how important is their contribution in these fights we are fighting. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. My name is John Charlie, member of our Walvis Bay community, also as well as youth representative here. I have just a short question. I just want to ask about the Ministry of Fisheries. What role did they play concerning this fish rod? Why they are new since then? We only hear the few individuals that have been mentioning, as we know, the ex-minister, Benabesa, but the ministry itself, or the office itself, why we don't see their input or their complaint, or did they make any research to discover more how much we lost through this Fishrot Scandal? And another thing as well is about the fishery inspector, or how we call them, those normally observers, that their job, most of them, if you see in a fishing company, they are senior citizens. Senior citizens who are just there, it seems like they don't take their work very seriously. A lot of things are happening. A lot of things are happening in fishing companies, and we really don't see the value of the work of Minister of Fisheries, especially in Europe. Things happening, fish being stolen, but we don't see their part. As we had that everything just goes straight the window, it's like they are doomed, doesn't exist. So that's why I really wanted to find out if they play a role that can bring a change to our nation.
Why? Because they were told, if you want to live a good life, you need to go to school, go to universities, then you'll be able to take care of your siblings, your mother, your uncle, your father, and the rest of your family. Now we even have people with master's degrees, friends of mine that are unemployed, studied engineering and other fields, but they are unemployed. But they are not partaking in this national discourse, things that affect them. I don't know what we need to do, Freya and Tangeni. Maybe we should start having these events at bars. I don't know. Maybe that's where they are. Like right now it's mud, and that's where you will find them. But we need to be more innovative in our approach. It's not that they don't care about these issues. I think that they have just become disillusioned that nothing will change because we keep on making the same promises, especially the politicians, but nothing changes for the better for them. So they have given up. They have lost hope. I hope that the political parties that are here represented here today, you have youth links. Maybe the communication will come out earlier next time so you can start mobilizing because we want to hear what they have to say. With those few remarks, I'll give it to the presenters to answer the other questions. Esther, Tatledi, Tatembili, some of the questions directly relate to the media fraternity and the fishing industry.
The other one was that I make a difference between the years when the Fishrot started and then when the illegal strike that year when it started. I did not differentiate them, but although it had a direct or indirect influence on the workers who were at the Okapan. Secondly, why I mentioned to say that to put the right people in the right position is that we have people who have been working within the fishing industry, who have retired and who have no clue what is taking place. If those kind of people can be approached also to contribute toward what they know, what they expertise have, so that we could, they can guide us, and then those who are coming in to pick up an experience from those who have been already there. On the side of the what is mentioned, we have to change our mentality setup of when the then minister Kawana decided to say, listen, some trade unions retire poor, and sometimes you have people within your office and all those that, and it is 3 unions that in the countries where the thing was given, but it is what we say that your responsibility and accountability is not to say you are saving someone because your ABC have. You have, when you come at a negotiation table, you differ and then you came and do the thing that you came from, rather than to be corrupted. So that is I want to say that it is for those union officials who are in the office, who have families, kids to go to school and what have you, so that they can also benefit from the resources of this country. And that is not meant for few people, but it's not be advantage on whatever when it is given. I think
the minister and the accused, but it is without the ministry, nothing else would have moved. So unless we keep our eye on that, very little will improve. Please, generally, as Namibians, let's not leave the work of demanding for information to, let's say, journalists, civil society, or others. But as individuals, you have the right to ask for information. What we need to teach each other is how do we go about that. And I think that's where us journalists who have done this kind of work for a long time come in. Maybe organize yourself and we see whether we can reach out to you to help you just find ways or understand what to look at. We hope the access to information law will really become operational this year. And then it will open up the doors even more to demand information from your elected officials as well as public and private company employees on demanding information that is accessible, that should be public, that should be available to you.